Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dreams Unlimited Travel Podcast. My name is John Magi, and I'll be your host. And in this episode, we're going to talk to you about what some cruise providers are offering their guests and their clients in lieu of the whole coronavirus issue, pandemic, lockdown, quarantine. I don't know.
That's its official name.
That's its official name. That's hashtag.
It's a horrible acronym.
Really. I'm joined via Skype by our panel of experts, Client Services Manager for Dreams Unlimited Travel, Kevin Close.
Hey, everyone.
Agent Consultant for Dreams Unlimited Travel, Tracy Heinrichs.
Hi, everyone.
And in his production cave, our producer, Craig Williams.
Ahoy, hoy.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for joining us. So all of our shows are usually very Disney-centric. We talk a lot about what's happening with Disney and Disney Cruise Line, and we think that information's out there, right? So, but I think that we're lacking in telling people what other cruise providers are offering their guests as well. So we want to make sure that we cover that and let folks know. I do want to make sure we let you know that we are recording this. When is this? April what?
10,
I don't know.
11.
I can't use my phone.
April 10th.
Somewhere around there.
We don't know what day it is.
I think it's April 11. It's the day before Easter.
Yes, we're recording this the Saturday before Easter. So things could change. There could be new information. Some of this might be accurate when it goes up. But we want to let you know that as of this time, this is where we are. In addition to that, I want to let you know that the CDC has just extended their no sail mandate, dictate, whatever they're calling it, for 100 days. So a lot of the cruise operators and travel providers, they are all adjusting their terms and conditions as well to take into account this new extension of not being able to do a cruise, not being able to sail. So let's get started. Tracy, you have some information for us about Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, correct?
Yes, I do. So basically, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity owned by the same parent company, so their policies are pretty well the same. And I want to say these guys kind of came out first with this. Like, they were on the ball. They were quick. They had things in place. So they kind of made our lives a little bit easier when this all started. So basically, these companies have two policies happening right now. The first policy is for sailings that they cancel. So if they've canceled your cruise, currently they're canceling up to May 11th. As John said, I'm sure by the time this airs, that would have changed. Maybe even in an hour from now, it'll change. But based on what I know this minute, cancellations are going to May 11th, except for sailings that include Canada. Those are going until July 2nd. Because Canada, we said, no, you can't come here until July 2nd.
You said no.
Yep. They asked me.
Germs here.
Yep. Our prime minister gave me a call as an international citizen of the world and asked my opinion.
Let's find the most OCD Canadian we can find.
Exactly.
Oh, it's Tracy Hendricks.
Yep. I'm on a database. Anyways, so for those sailings and that the cruise line is canceled or is in the process of canceling, you have two options. One is 125% future cruise credit. So they will give you credit worth 125% of your base cruise fare. So what that means is things like port charges, taxes, prepaid gratuities, transfers, all of that stuff will be refunded back to the method of payment you used. And the base cruise fare, you will get an extra 25% of that to apply towards a future cruise credit. And that cruise credit can be used anytime up until the end of December of 21. So really lenient there on that. And it's a nice chunk of change for people who want to rebook right away. For those that are saying either, I need the money now, either a layoff situation or work shortages, like we all know, they are entitled to 100% of what they paid back to their original form of payment. So a person can choose one or the other, whichever works best for them. So that's Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, kind of in a nutshell. They use a lot more words to explain it, but that's basically it for policy one. Policy two is called their cruise with confidence. This is the one where people may cancel because they're not sure. Maybe they're not comfortable traveling with the way things are, or they're, in a situation where they've been laid off or, worried about finances. So in this case, what you can do is you can cancel your sailing, and there is no cash refund or no refund back to your form of payment on this one, but you can get 100% future cruise credit to use towards your next cruise. So if you decide to cancel on a cruise, you get 100% future cruise credit to use by the end of December of 21. If Royal Caribbean cancels on you, then you have the choice of refund back to original form of payment or the future cruise credit worth 125%. And they're also refunding anything that you bought in your cruise planner, things like that. So that's both.
Do you know if there's been a situation where people have done the cruise with confidence and then Royal Caribbean's canceled and then given them the extra percentage? Because Disney has done that for folks.
I haven't come across it yet. And they kind of say in their verbiage that if you've taken offer 2, we can't go back and give you offer 1.
That's fair enough.
And I think it's also fair because they came out with it so, like, they were so on the ball from the beginning. And their cruise with confidence, they've recently extended it to be sailings up to September 1st of 20. So any sailing that you have booked up until September 1st. If you have just the deposit book or paid and not the full amount, but it's a non-refundable deposit, they won't charge you the penalty and they will give you your deposit in a future cruise credit. So
something interesting about Royal Caribbean was I was consistently and constantly asked from Disney, what are other cruise providers doing? What are they offering their guests? And this was before Disney came out with their future cruise credit offer. And I used Royal Caribbean as a model. I said, listen, Royal Caribbean is crushing it. They were out early. They were out supporting their travel agent community early. So I think Disney modeled some of their current offers after what Royal Caribbean's done.
I agree. And they also came out with ways first for us to do these things online. They created forms for us to do, so we weren't waiting hours on the phone. So they really kind of stepped it up. I should also mention that Cruise with Confidence, you can cancel up to 48 hours before the sailing and take advantage of this policy. So what this has done is they haven't changed final payment dates, but what they're telling you is if you pay your final payment and then 2 or 3 days before you're still not comfortable with sailing, you can then take that entire payment and put it towards another cruise in the next, year and a half now.
Yeah. I got to give them a lot of credit. They've really been on the forefront of this, and they've really been very lenient. And something you mentioned too was they even did a thing where they said, listen, if you know your client wants this, don't do anything.
Yeah.
And we'll do it automatically, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to fill out a form or call us. So they really had incredible foresight of how to handle this situation.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say on Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. That pretty well covers it.
Okay.
Now, like I said, it could change by the time we end this call, but they've been pretty consistent, so I think we're safe for now.
Anything else? Do you have another cruise line you want to talk about?
Norwegian.
Okay.
Norwegian, similar. So on sailings that they've canceled, they're doing the 125% future cruise credit, but theirs is good up until December of 22. So you have all the way to the end of 22 to use their future cruise credit worth 125%. Or you can take the refund of 100% of what you've paid. So far, they've canceled sailings up until May 14th. Again, we probably will see everybody extend that, guessing, but just with what the CDC just released, I kind of think we will. They also have they're calling their second policy, peace of mind, in that for sailings between May 15th and September 30th, you can cancel up to 48 hours before and get 100% future cruise credit. So same thing if you're, if it's just deposit, and they would refund that but we're at the point now where these sailings are pretty well, paid in full. So with anything that's paid in full, they're not extending payment due dates, but they're giving you that extra cushion to say you can take your money and put it towards another cruise again till the end of 22. So that's really lenient. I think as far as the rebooking option, they're the most lenient I've seen.
I agree. They've done really well.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for that?
Nope. I think I'm good.
Okay. Kevin, you have Viking. You deal with Viking quite a bit, both river and ocean. Tell us a little bit about what they're doing for their guests.
It's very, very similar. If they cancel your cruise, you're offered a full refund or 125% future cruise voucher. They're hoping that you will take that option and cruise with them again. Right now, they are canceled through the end of May. So it's not much different than what Tracy just said. I wish I had some razzle dazzle to tell you. I can tell you that this is overwhelming travel providers. If, for instance, if you call Viking right now, if they tell you if you're not traveling within the next 60 days, call back in a week or two. That's how busy they are.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of the companies are telling us that. So we have clients asking us for stuff later on, and it's like, I'm sorry, but the companies are asking me, as a partner with them, can you please just, table that stuff for now? Anything that doesn't have to be done.
I have cruises booked. And like right now, I'm going to go back to ABD for a minute because that's what I deal with the most. Up until this started, you had your final payment was 120 days before departure. ABD has moved final payments back by 30 days. So now it's 90 days before departure. But what happens is if you're within final payment and departure and ABD hasn't canceled your reservation or your departure yet, you're in what they call penalty phase. So I have guests who are fairly certain that their departures are going to be canceled, but because ABD has not made that announcement, we just have to wait it out.
Mm-hmm. And that's been true for all the companies. And clients, I know they get tired of us saying wait and see, but if I see a client wanting to cancel and I know they're in penalties, like, I would wait. Like, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you 100%, but there's been several clients now where I've said, I would really sit on this if I were you, because it's going to work out to your favor if the cruise line cancels this first. And
exactly,
we have an idea, so we know.
I have clients who are traveling to northern Italy fairly soon, and they just haven't reached that point where ABD has said, okay, we're canceling all of these dates. Yeah. And I think you're going to lose half your money if you do this now. If you just are patient and let them get to it first, and no travel provider wants to just, kill the rest of their season. So they're trying they have to roll this out so that they can handle it in a timely fashion. Right. If they said we're canceling all dates through the end of the summer, it would be chaos and a free-for-all. So we all have to be patient. And none of us are unaware of situations. We're all aware of what's going on. We just have to follow the same rules and regulations and timeline that the companies are putting forth. And we're all trying to salvage business.
That's true. It is true. I think that I said this on another show. I think that what's happening is these travel companies and travel providers are coming to the right decisions. They might not be coming to them as quickly as we would like and say, listen, tell us now, is this canceled? Tell us now, is this going? But I think that eventually they get to the right place and eventually they treat people correctly, like refunding all their money and things like that.
Right.
I would like to see Adventures by Disney do a cruise model where they offer 125% towards a future one to keep people engaged, but that they're just not at that yet.
Somebody explain something to me. When you cancel a Disney World reservation, you are dealing with one company. You are dealing with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
When you cancel an ABD is the umbrella, but they are dealing with third-party vendors in different parts of the world. Right. So you're not dealing with one company.
Tracy
said this on
all of these different pieces that they've got to put together, piece together, and then make it work. And now they have to go and dismantle it.
Tracy said something on another show. I think people look at Disney as this big tent where everything's Disney. And Disney is actually lots of little villages working towards the same goal. Disney Cruise Line doesn't talk to Adventures by Disney. I can't move money between your cruise and your adventure. I have to get a refund from one to put it on another. So while they're all Disney, they are all little villages that work towards the same goal. With Adventures by Disney, it kind of works vertically. Adventures by Disney, as I said, is the umbrella, but then they have all these these are not Disney hotels they're working with. I'm going to give you an example in London. When they cancel a London-Paris trip, they have a couple of hotels that are not Disney properties. So this is not, they now have to work with cancellation policies that are not Disney cancellation policies, if that makes any sense at all.
It does, for sure. All right, I've got a couple. I have Princess Cruise Lines policy. We do book Princess Cruises if you're interested. We have a couple of agents who specialize in those. Surprisingly, their information on their website is not really up to date. I was surprised that this is what they're listing, that they have voluntarily stopped cruises from March 12th through May 10th, again, not taking into account things like Alaska and other stuff. And they're offering pretty much the same thing everybody else is doing, is a future cruise credit of, they're offering a little bit more for April through May. They're offering 150% future cruise credit. And if you want to cancel, they're giving you a 100% refund plus a 25% cruise credit for another cruise. So they're even okay with giving you your money back and then trying to get you to travel in the future. But again, their information is a little outdated. This is again more for Princess. For cruises and cruise tours sailing July 1st through July 31st, final payment is now reduced to 60 days prior to sailing. If you're traveling between June 1st and June 30th, it still remains at 60 days. So I'm sure we're going to see an update from them and sort of modify their terms and conditions. The only thing really different there is that if you do cancel, you get a refund and 25% off towards a future cruise credit. The other one I have is Carnival. We do book Carnival Cruise Lines. We don't have a lot of agents who do it. So if you're interested in the Carnival Cruise, I'd have to get you to one of our Carnival Cruise agents. And again, pretty much the same thing, the same dates are affected. However, what they're doing is they're doing a 100% cruise credit and a $600 onboard credit per stateroom. That's for 6 days or longer cruises. For 5 days or less cruises, it's 100% future cruise credit and a $300 onboard credit per stateroom. So they're attacking it a little bit differently. They're looking more about giving you a shipboard credit instead of the 125% that other cruise lines are doing. I think the bottom line here is everybody's doing something. They're all trying to get you to think about sailing again in the future. They don't want you to just go away and say, listen, okay, I'm done with cruising because of this scary thing that's happening. So take a look at what they're doing on the individual cruise line that you booked, see how it affects you, and see how you can get the best offer for it. Anything else you want to add to any of this?
Not me.
I don't think so. No, just the kind of wait and see. If you can, wait it out and let the cruise line make the first move.
Yeah,
and we're here to help you.
We're here to help you. I think that's really good advice, Tracy. We want folks to not. It's difficult. I understand that, especially if you are in a situation where you've lost your job and your finances are affected. We don't want you to. Kevin's gone. We don't. Yeah. We don't want you to just. Put yourself in a financial bind. Obviously, if you need that money, we're going to work with you to cancel it. But if you have the ability to wait, if that money is not important, but it's not imperative for you to get it back, all we're asking is that you take a little time and wait and see what happens. Even with Walt Disney World, they've changed their final payment stuff so much closer to travel that it's more beneficial for you to wait and see what they offer you rather than canceling in advance.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you guys very much for helping me with this conversation. Thank you, everybody at home, for listening and watching. We hope you have a great week, and we hope you have a great vacation.